Hey there, friends. On the heels of Thanksgiving, we actually have something legitimately to be thankful for. But first, if you guys will go take a look at my friends Gideon Optics. Gideon has some really affordable optics out there, multi-purpose optics. I've actually been running one of their mediator optics on one of my shotguns here recently, and this thing is taking the full beating of everything. But they have a long line of other ones. In fact, I think they're going to be introducing some new optics at SHOT Show this year as well. So go check out my new friends at Gideon Optics. Check them out at GideonOptics.com. Again, GideonOptics.com. The federal ban on licensed dealers selling pistols to adults under 21 is deemed unconstitutional, according to a ruling issued this past Friday. U.S. District Chief Judge Thomas S. Clay said the sales ban violates the Second Amendment. He determined there isn't a historical tradition of barring adults from buying pistols as required for a gun restriction to be constitutional under the Supreme Court's latest precedent. Let's back up and read the first part of that sentence one more time, because it is one of the most beautifully strung together string of words I have read in quite some time. He determined there isn't a historical tradition of barring adults from buying pistols. Notice he makes it very clear that these people are not necessarily under the age of 21, like the wackos on the far left would have you believe these are children. He makes it very clear in a statement that these people are adults, and there is no historical tradition of barring adults from buying pistols. He blocked enforcement of the law against the plaintiffs in the case and all 18 to 21-year-olds nationwide.
I'm bad, I'm nationwide.
The judge stated, quote, because plaintiffs' conduct, the purchase of handguns, falls within the Second Amendment's unqualified command, and the challenged statutes and regulations are not consistent with the nation's historic tradition of firearm regulation, the court finds that this law is facially unconstitutional and as applied to plaintiffs. Friends, this is a big deal. As you guys know, previously, a person, an adult, as this judge correctly points out, could not purchase a pistol if he was under the age of 21. Friday's ruling, which goes into effect immediately, like right now, you guys who are 18 to 21 or 18 to 20, can go out there and purchase pistols. It goes into effect right now. You can go to an FFL and fill out a background check and purchase a pistol from them. Now, I can guarantee you this. You're going to walk into a gun store, more than likely one of your big box stores. If you guys still shop there, please shop small mom and pops. That's the people who really support the Second Amendment, not these big box stores who typically are giving lots of money to the anti-gun left. But if you go into a place in the big box stores, because of the lower amount of experience involved with the person behind the counter, you're more than likely going to be met with some resistance. They're going to tell you can't do it because this news has not trickled down to them yet. It's very possible that these mom and pops at the smaller local FFLs, they're aware of this. They've received an email, more than likely, from somebody. Now, the ATF is not going to send an email. The ATF is likely going to appeal this, more than likely, because they're not going to be happy with this. This is something that they've loved to have for a very long period of time, and now this has got smacked down. Bruen has continued to do its good work from one side of this country to the other, and this is just another in the long list of things that Bruen is striking down. So you're going to see, again, likely some resistance in more of the big box stores, the hustle and bustle. You're going to have your lower trained people in the academies and the Bass Pros and whatnot. So just expect a little bit of a speed bump there. You may have to educate them. You may have to show them this video. You may have to show them the ruling from the judge. But nevertheless, this is a thing. And Bruen clearly states everything that this judge is talking about. I don't see how any kind of an appeal process, other than delaying the process of this going into effect, is going to change anything, because on its face, that ruling is unconstitutional by far. Always has been. Bruen did not have to reverse this. It was already unconstitutional and deemed so. However, Bruen makes it very official in the court's eyes. Again, this is all nationwide. Effective immediately. Now, I've often said that any kind of classism, if you will, is wrong. If a group of people are allowed to do something, the entire group of people should be allowed to do that. You can't pick and choose subsets of people who a law might or might not apply to. And I've often said that the prohibiting of 18 to 20-year-olds from purchasing pistols is a big-time form of classism. In fact, it takes a direct attack at poorer people. Because think about this, guys. Whose family has not gone through this, right? Bobby gets his girlfriend pregnant. Mom and dad don't approve. Her parents kick her out of the house. His parents kick him out of the house. They've got nowhere to stay. They either go to the projects, live in a trailer park, wherever, lower income places. We've all been there. I remember I used to pay, with roommates, $50 for a duplex that I stayed in. So we've all been there, right? So these are people who don't have much money. And in this kind of economy, we have even less money, right? And the poorer people have less than what they would have normally had, even though they were broke before. So groceries alone, not to mention utility bills and gas prices, are going to eat up all of their revenue, all of their income that they bring into the household. So these younger, poorer people, guess what? Living in these poorer locations with lesser requirements, again, projects, trailer parks, whichever, more crime, more dangerous to live in. So what we've done is we've made a massive group of people, just because of their age, just because of what year they were born in, more unsafe, because we're not going to, quote, allow them to protect themselves and their families. So what we have done by these draconian laws that nobody else seems to really care about because they get older and they're like, not my problem, is we've made people who make less income and who live in more unsafe areas throughout this country a lot less safe. We've got their children less safe. So what are we doing? We're creating young, early felons, because some of these people are like, I'm not complying with that law. I'm going to protect my family. So they are illegally purchasing pistols, illegal according to the federal government, not me. They should be able to, and obviously this judge thinks the same thing. But these people now are going to be able to protect their families, and there's a lot of low-end handguns that they can purchase out there to protect themselves and their families. So I think what this is going to do is this is going to allow more people to be, if you want to call it compliant, to not have to break the law in order to protect their families. Because most of us, I'm speaking for myself, when I was young, I had a handgun. When I was 18, 19, 20 years old, I lived in these low-income places. You damn right I had a handgun. You want to know how I got it? I'm not going to tell you, but I had one because I wasn't going to allow some ass in Washington, D.C. to determine whether or not I come home or whether or not I'm going to be safe in my own home, no matter how low rent and trashy it might have been. That was still my home. And I wasn't going to let somebody else dictate how safe or unsafe I was going to be in that home. Kudos to this judge for doing this. This is huge, guys. This is a big deal. This is one of those draconian laws that has been in place for a very long time and has affected a lot of people for a long time. The word needs to get out on this, because I can promise you there's a lot of young people that are not aware that this law is in effect now. And the old law has been undone. And very soon, you're going to see a lot of young people at the range now, because now they're not going to be scared. Because again, that's the other thing that we've done. We've made them hide in the shadows, because those that did like me and still got their handguns, well, they don't want to run the risk of somebody catching them with their handguns. You know, and I'm going to use this term for the first time ever. I've never used this, but I'm going to use it for this reason. The old fuds at the gun range who want to rat somebody out, who are not true Second Amendment supporters, who are just asses. Those are the types of people that young people have been afraid to go to the gun range and sharpen their skills. Now you might see some of these young people come out of the shadows and start going to the range because they're not afraid to get ratted out by these old people. And that's where I think we're going to see a safer community out there in more ways than one. Less accidental discharges, but also keeping their families safer inside their homes. I love this. This is a beautiful thing. And this judge has a silver tongue, in my opinion, because he worded things as beautiful and special as I've ever seen. Guys, please check to make sure you are still subscribed to the channel. YouTube's still playing their games, and I'm not a winner of these games. Apparently, only they are winning. Check to make sure you're subscribed, and I would appreciate it. Thank you for liking, sharing, and of course, making sure you're subbed.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. He's over.